How's it going, everybody? My name is Chris, and I hope you all are doing well. So since today is the final day of 2025, I wanted to really just sit down and talk about this year in general, how I've grown both personally as a creator and as a person, and really what I expect to do in 2026 going forward. This video in particular is going to be more, emotionally intimate, and I know this is a different type of video compared to the more lighthearted and, funny stuff I do, if you can call it funny. But sometimes it is good to sit down and try to be serious for a little while, not everything can be funny. So 2024, the year started good, but then it pretty much became rough very fast, and as much as I tried to kind of push it aside and not let it really bother me, I think some of you probably knew something was wrong around that time, and obviously some people close to me knew my situation and stuff. I think you could probably notice that videos were being rushed and how, probably low in quality they were compared to the beginning of the year. To open up on that year, mentally, around late April, I was not in a very good spot. I was under a lot of pressure due to college. I was trying to meet deadlines with myself. I set, to get videos out weekly. And overall, just playing for my future as well, going ahead. I think some of you know how stressful that can be if you've been in college or just trying to plan for your future. I was in really such a bad spot that every day I was doubting pretty much every single decision I made, whether if a video would be uploading, worth uploading, or if I'm even taking the right direction in life, if I'm fit for my major, or if I should look for something else. And I was even doubting if it was even worth living at that point anymore. It got to that point, unfortunately. And going into 2025, it was kind of the same stuff for the early parts of the year. Back then, I was hoping for miracles overnight, which obviously doesn't work. I was still pretty much experiencing the same pressure, whether it was, classes, YouTube, and just life in general. Pretty much, I was seriously starting to wonder when there would be a light at the end of the tunnel. It was kind of a similar experience to what I went through in 2021 to 2022, although I just wasn't sure if this time I'd be able to really come back from this stuff. I didn't expect anything at the beginning of this year, but I think looking at now, I can confidently say this has been one of the more stable and overall better years of my life. And before this video goes forward too, I apologize in advance if things start to get weird / out of place, but I really want to show how much better this year has gotten in general for me, whether it was, pieces of media like movies, or certain people, or just really anything I learned. So just a disclaimer. So moving on to this next section, I want to give a shout out to 3 movies in particular that really helped me this year. Not in sort of like a cheesy, fixing everything overnight type of way, but more so helping me with how I look at myself, how to be proud of what I've accomplished so far, and really how I came to be confident more in myself and my self-esteem and my future in general. And those 3 movies are Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Whisper of the Heart. Now you may be thinking these are very odd choices. Sure, but considering on the surface that they have little to do with each other, besides 2 of them being animated and 1 being Scott Pilgrim, no doubt though, these 3 movies, they have really impacted me in a great note this year. All 3 of these movies really have the protagonists, thrust into many moments where they must confront and face with, doubt, stress, insecurity, depression, burnout, and really, like an uncertainty of what's really coming next, specifically like themes that myself and probably some of you have dealt with in the past. I will say going forward, spoiler alerts, because some of you may have never seen these movies before, so there's your spoiler alert. So with Kiki, in Kiki's Delivery Service, she leaves her home and becoming a young witch in a city, and pretty much she loses her magic later on in the film due to her being, burnt out emotionally and struggling with her confidence, as, she has to rely on herself, how she loses her inspiration to fly and such. As for Shizuku in Whisper of the Heart, she feels more lost about her future and pretty much doubts herself constantly about not being good enough as she navigates in becoming a writer. And as for Scott, he must confront his self-doubt, his flaws, and his emotional immaturity overall in the film and even the books as well. Now, as these 3 movies go on, you start to see that the healing and self-improvement for our protagonists aren't just like instant overnight solutions. It's a process, it takes time, it takes good effort to help you feel more better, to get back up there. And going back to these movies, with Kiki, she regains her magic when she finds her inspiration, Tamo almost falling off a blimp after it crashed in the city, but as you can see too, she reconnects with her purpose and self-worth in her abilities. As with Shizuku, she accepts that growing up is just a journey and not some race to be perfect, and that it's okay to put things on hold and focus on one thing at a time. And with Scott, near the end of the film, you see that he earns the power of self-respect after he comes to terms of what's happened around him and how his actions have hurt others close to him, and how he fights for himself alongside acknowledging his flaws rather than trying to hide them and just ignore them. In general, these 3 films may seem weird to someone who hasn't seen them because, as I said, 2 of them are animated and 1 is live action. It could just be my mind thinking this, as usual, but all 3 films have genuinely taught me a lot, as weird as it may sound. These 3 films taught me that I don't need to have everything figured out yet in life. Growth can be messy, you improve one little step at a time, and that being lost doesn't mean I'm failing, but it means I'm evolving. The big one overall that these films have taught me is that I've become someone stronger than who I really was in 2024 and the beginning of 2025. Learning how to grow, heal, and believe in myself, and pretty much not doubt myself or my abilities either. If you haven't seen any of these movies, I highly recommend them to you all if you haven't seen them, especially Kiki's Delivery Service. It is such a great film. Whisper of the Heart as well is such an underrated film, and then Scott Pilgrim as well. All 3 films are just simply amazing in storytelling and really just getting the message out there. Well, moving on. That was a long section, but I'm happy that I did that section. I think it's a good time to shout out a few people that have made this year a whole lot better as well. So firstly, I'd like to thank my thumbnail designer Pranali for the continued work on the thumbnails for this channel. We started working in January of 2024, and really, it's insane to think that that'll be 2 years old now. But she has done a whole lot for this channel, and since then, even making my channel art and overall being a great friend that I've gotten to know as well. And I'm happy to see that she has grown too, because she has gotten a lot of clients and even some bigger YouTubers as well, so very happy to see that. I'd also like to thank Lynx as well. She has done some thumbnail work with certain videos too on this channel when Pranali wasn't available, or if she had a good idea herself. But also as a friend, I'd like to thank her for sticking with me too, because she has been through a good ton herself in the past, and she deserves to be here as well. And you may not know as well, but she also has had a good hand in helping with the Dead by Daylight videos too, specifically the Steve Gold video, so you can thank her for those types of videos as well. Another shout out goes to viewers like you, all the people who liked and subscribed and even shared the videos, but I'd like to give a special thanks to 2 specific individuals, Kai and Miska. Miska has been a friend of mine for a good while now, and I'm really happy to see them whenever I upload a short, a full video, or a community post, and the same goes with Kai as well, supporting whichever video I post. In general, it means a lot from both of them, and it means a lot from all of you, and I thank every single one of you for your support throughout as well, and here's to more great videos in 2026. I'd also like to thank the people that have been in my seed videos too, more specifically Gabe, Enzo, and Archer. Gabe has been an amazing friend for the past year, and I swear he makes any gaming session fun whenever you play with them. Whether we're getting our ass kicked on Siege or playing anything else in general, they just bring the vibes to it. They're funny as hell. Enzo and Archer also bring those vibes too and have been really great friends. And hopefully you'll be able to see all of them in videos more in 2026 going forward as well. Maybe also on some other games besides Siege as well. And lastly, I want to give probably a big old shout out to Bridget. You may know them as Grace or Real Dokubi CEO on Twitter, whichever. They've been in the majority of my videos since early 2024. They don't talk in the videos, but they've had a big involvement with my videos from then to now, both in the background and personally. I mean, to give an example, they proofread my script for this video, and they even improved it a good ton, so thank you to them. But in general, they've been a great friend to get to know over the past months, and I tell you, the way they care for others and have been really kind, they're that type of friend that you want by your side, no doubt, especially in your toughest times. They are really the reason I've improved this year as well. You know, they were the one to introduce me to Scott Pilgrim, and even more stuff like Resident Evil, Chainsaw Man, and even Pretty Derby as well. And in general, they've really helped me get through some rough patches from last year and this year, and really vice versa as well. We help each other out. I can't really thank them enough, and hopefully soon they will be at peace too with themselves, as they've been through a real good lot mentally since the end of 2024, and especially through now. Well, those two were long sections, but I wanted to make sure I got those in first and foremost. But now I think it'd be a good time to talk about how my content has evolved in general, though. Obviously, I love Rainbow Six Siege and found a new way of creating content with it last year. But really, when you create content on just one game repeatedly over and over, it starts to be good. Like in the beginning, it's great, but as you start to, go down the line, you start to get a bit tired of it. And I did dabble with some other games in 2024, but in 2025 I wanted to do a bit more, and that's why you started seeing more games like Dead by Daylight and even the Formula 1 games as well. Because in general, I love those types of games and I love motorsports, so I thought it would be good to do so. And starting with 2026, I also plan to introduce some more games on this channel going next year as well. Hopefully I can get a Resident Evil video out, like, just me playing through one of the games. And potentially other games like Ready or Not 2, which I could play with Gabe and Bridget, so be on the lookout for those types of videos. Now, my editing style as well is not the best, but I feel like I've improved a good ton, and my skills continue to improve. Mostly, I want to start to try to, kind of strive away from editing so fast, and more so just letting the clips flow and not bombarding it with brain rot, because we have Twitter and TikTok to do that. The pacing of videos is something that I feel like I've gotten better at over the year as well, but I still feel like I need to improve on that as well. I think the same in general goes with, optimizing videos like titles, descriptions, and in general my humor. Good improvements over the year, but need to be worked on a bit more. And in general, a big thing that I've moved away from this year is really obsessing with numbers. This is a big one because I used to check YouTube Studio frequently back from like 2021 up until like 2024, 25. In general, my moods were pretty much based off of whether a video would do great or not so great. I would always be down whenever a video wouldn't do so well, or I'd probably be happy whenever a video would do very well. And I'm glad now that I've strived away from that, because refreshing the page every damn second and having my mental state rely on such stupid things, it feels nice to not rely on those. And it's helped me feel a lot better and at ease about this stuff too, and it's really led me as well to having fun again with making videos. And I think another big thing too is that I've found ways to balance it with my job and college life, and splitting editing time up so that it doesn't feel like a chore as well. I think you can really see the difference between my 2024 videos and 2025 videos, especially around like February / maybe like late March, early April. It feels like the videos this year have more soul into them rather than 2024's, which matters overall. And that brings us to our final parts of the video, which is really what I've learned throughout this year and what I really plan to do for 2026. I've learned obviously that small improvements do matter, and that even if it's not a big step, it's alright. You heard just now that numbers don't define my value, and that I'm allowed to grow slower than others, whether on YouTube or in life in general. I've learned too that stability is a pretty underrated thing, but most certainly important. And to finish the small section before going on to future plans, I want to say this to all of you, whether you're a viewer of this channel or if the algorithm blessed you, if the algorithm decides to push this video. If you're going through something similar that I've went through last year and years prior, I get you. I understand you. And I want you to know that you're not alone. A lot of people are in the same situation as you. My friend Bridget, she's going through a lot, but I've been trying to help her a good ton. And I will say this too. Do not be afraid to talk to someone or ask for help. There's no shame in doing so. I've made the mistake of not doing that and really just kind of keeping my feelings in. And I will tell you, most people would appreciate you for coming to them to help, or pretty much just venting to them. Just remember that. Keep that in your mind. Do not do what I did and hold those thoughts in, as I said, and let them eat you up to the point where you let them out at the worst possible times. It's better to talk with someone else that will pretty much understand you, help you, and most importantly, listen to you. Alright, for our last section of this video, the future. I said earlier that I do plan to do more Siege, Formula 1, Dead by Daylight videos, but also introducing other games like Resident Evil and games like Ready or Not, and maybe some other surprises here and there. As I said, stay tuned for those. I would also like to say to expect some more experimenting with my content, more so what more I can do than just like funny moments, and maybe do some more informative types of videos and other forms of content that would be good to watch too and would maybe even benefit some others, which hopefully will work out pretty good. And in general, expect a healthier mindset as well. I want to try as well and not stress about getting a video up at least once a week. I'll do my best to put more effort into videos and maybe see about hiring some more editors to do some of these videos as well, and not just making it soulless and boring, which is what I've been doing in some of my recent videos, and I apologize for that. But, yep, that's it. That's really what I wanted to say for this year. It's good to get this video off my chest. It's been in my mind since about September to October, and it's good to finally put my thoughts into like video form for you guys to watch and listen. And I would like to say that if you stuck around this year, whether you've been subscribed for a while or just been subscribed for a few months now, thank you, genuinely. I've had thoughts as well of stopping this channel early on in the year, especially when I had my big break back then in March, or how I would really be able to start doing this again. But in general, I am glad I kept going, because this channel means a lot to me more than anyone knows. So, here's to a better 2026 for all of us included, not just me. And yeah, Happy New Year everybody, and I hope you all have a great year ahead. Take care of yourselves most importantly, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.